Hi all, this is Dino the Ops Guy. Welcome back. This is production management and practice, or basically production ops at Stardew. So this is I put together a university course for free where we will talk about production management. And to sort of set the stage, I'm using Stardew Valley as sort of the factory for which I'm using the examples of production management. So you probably have it on your computer. You can play along. This is episode 18. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, they are each day is available on YouTube. Day 13 is part of day 12, but I still have an episode 13, which has no days. So every other day matches up where episode 18 is day 18, episode 6 is day 6, etc., etc., etc. So we will just move in. The one of the things I want to talk about, it doesn't get talked about a lot, and certainly doesn't make sense to talk about it too much in the format of a video game, but Stardew Valley actually does a decent job of sort of bringing this in, if not on a causal basis. So I don't know if you've noticed that for the most part, I don't necessarily go way out of my way, but for the most part, I'll go a little bit out of my way just to say hi to people in the game, which, I mean, seems kind of absurd if you're trying to maximize the output of a game. And to some extent, I find in production, some people sort of have the same view that they don't see talking with operators or sort of interacting with operators as part of any value to production management, but there is a lot of value. Let me give you a bit of a history on this, having been in academia and been a practitioner for a long time. Really, there's a sort of the split that happened on the academic side. There was a sort of a discipline or a body of understanding that was called organizational behavior. Another one called organizational design. They kind of shared some stuff between them, but that really led to more of the human resources type management type jobs, and for that reason, people are most people think that. Essentially, human resources takes care of your human resources, your humans. And there's a bit of a weakness there from the standpoint that, yeah, HR keeps track of everyone, but categorically. So they, instead of, if you have 100 people in the plant, they don't have 100 people they look at. There's like 12, like one of them's an operator and one of them's a sweeper and one of them's, like each category becomes a person that they keep track of in the plant, and they have the job description and they have, all the nuances of what their pay scale is and these sorts of things. But really, when it comes to production operations or any operations management in production or otherwise, we have to work with each one. Having the operator involved and engaged is a big part of production management, but really it's sort of fallen down in the academic sense that it really doesn't come up that much. From the standpoint that even when I started a PhD a while ago in operations management, and one of the things I was looking at was essentially culture related. And it was basically told to me, like, that's not operations. That's someone else, human resources or something else, or organizational design or organizational behavior. It's not operations management. I'm thinking it is so much a function of what comes out of operations management. So it really should be a part of the study. So when we get to what workplace culture is, it does have a huge impact on what's going on, not the least of which from the standpoint of how the strategy gets translated to the policy so that you can actually accomplish a lot of the strategic goals that you're looking for. A good example of it is when Toyota was in the 1970s, when Toyota was gaining ground on General Motors and the other Chrysler at the time, and now it's Stellantis and Ford. As soon as they started making big headway, going from 5% world market share to double-digit world market share, GM, Ford, and Chrysler, and at the time I was working at GM, so I can speak to this firsthand, really was trying to copy everything they did because they felt that by copying it, they could essentially, gain on their own, or at the very least, mitigate the advantage that Toyota had. And they tried to copy all the things that were going on. The one thing they couldn't copy was the Toyota culture. And I don't mean Japanese culture. It's kind of ironic that Japan has very few resources, basically a rock in the middle of the ocean. So other than seaweed and rocks, it doesn't have the resources that North America has. But they were still able to make a huge headway. And it wasn't, again, because of the Japanese culture per se, but this notion that they understood how to treat their workers, how to engage their workers, so that the workers could be a big benefit to them. And I find that in some sense that's really lacking in, I would say North American production. Certainly, I've seen other countries around the world where that is a bit of a problem, less so overseas though. But it comes back down to, if you want people to engage and make good decisions, then you have to engage and empower them. And that is completely missed on the academic side. So if you do an MBA, there will be very little discussion in your operations management classes or in your if you have production management classes, on how to engage with people or what the value of engaging with those people are. When I've taught in universities, the only time that's come up really is in case method, where we've talked about a case that kind of bridges, a bit of organizational behavior and a bit of, call it capacity planning or whatever the case, or operation strategy type thing. And I could go deep because of sort of that bridge. But for the most part, academia keeps these isolated to the detriment, really, of production. So, let's get down to that doesn't have a big impact on day 18 or episode 18, but it is something that comes up. So if you see me every day petting Meow, well, that's kind of, my go-to thing. If I go to a plant, I'm going to talk to everyone who's there, see how they're doing, engage them, find out, is it going to be a good day for them or a bad day for them? Can we sort of mitigate what's going on outside the plant? All for the benefit of helping them be better employees. So, and again, doesn't give it up that much. But okay, so speaking of better employees, we have a really good employee. His name is Av, and we're going to line Av up for day 18. And we're saying today, you don't have a lot in the field to harvest, but you do have a couple jars. This is our first set of jars is going to come through, so that's good. We have the plan for the silo coming up, and really our weakness here is we have 8 clay out of 10 that we need. It sounds like we're really close, but the crazy thing for clay is the only way you really get it is just digging in the ground. So I think today, Av, you're just going to have to spend a whole lot of time digging in the ground. If we have more time, getting deeper in the mines does help. I know it's not going to be one of those lucky days, but even if we get the copper from it, and now we're getting more into coal, if we can get the coal from it, that's going to be very, very helpful. So if you have free time and you haven't been near the mines, which is probably where you're going to spend a lot of your time, you might want to fish some bullhead. Anywhere else, if you want to be foraging, that's probably a good thing to do as well. I am going to turn it over to your capable hands. Av, take it away. Okay, thanks, Dino. I think it got cut off there. Tomorrow's going to rain, and the spirits are somewhat annoyed. So that'll be a problem today, but that's okay. Hi, Meow. So the one thing we should do is get these jars. We're not going to be able to refill them with 3 cauliflower because we only have 1. But we'll do, like we said, 1 cauliflower and 2 potatoes. That'll get us through. So we can see from those 9 cauliflower staring at us that the next cycle we'll be able to have cauliflower. So that's a good thing. If you look to the back there, there is a seed. It looks like a maple seed. And this is part of the 5S thing, that one. We're not trying to make that area pretty. We're just trying to make it functional from the standpoint if anything doesn't belong there, like that seed, it stands out. So that's actually doing its job. So that's a good thing. And we will continue. It makes sense right now. We're trying to get a few rocks, trying to a bit clean up the area, but as well, getting the rocks will have the advantage of we can make more cobblestone path. If we find a clay, that'd be nice there, but oh, we found one. Now we just need one more. So we have a 9 out of 10. If we find one more, that'll be good. But given that right now time in the game is a constraint, that at the end of the day we just wish we had more time in that day, making the paths faster is to our benefit. So just going to spend some time getting some stones and making some cobblestone paths and making the place more efficient. What can we do? So the other thing is, come tomorrow, day 19, we'll be able to get our copper axe, and at that point we'll actually take that stump out, because the copper axes allow you to remove those stumps, which will be a big help, and then we can clean this up even more. So that'll be nice. Now it is time to see. Oh, there's a cutscene. I don't usually follow that cutscene. We found a book. So let's sort of make our way around foraging. We'll try and stay close to the water to see if we see the water rings, to the fish rings kind of thing. That would make it worthwhile for fishing. It's a rainy day, so we don't have to worry about all the watering in the garden that we'd have to do. Again, following a little bit of the water line, just to, oh, there's a daffodil, just to see if we see those rings. Gonna forage the tide pools. We got a coral. That's good. We don't have to talk to the old mariner. Another coral. That's good. So we can cash this out. The nice thing about the ocean, there's a mussel, is that there's a lot of area that we can just go crazy with the hoe. And what I want to do sometimes, not because there's a huge advantage, but kind of make a marker with the hoe as far as where the entrance to the city is, kind of thing. And then another one for where the dock is. And that, even though it disappears fairly quickly, it's a bit useful from the standpoint to know how much farther you have to go. Hey, Sebastian. How much farther you have to go to basically get through, because when you come onto the beach from the town, you don't really see where the dock is, and when you get from the dock, you don't really see where the town entrance is. So that kind of helps, even though it's going to disappear before too long. Oh, and Demetrius is looking for some us to fish some herring. We can potentially do that. Not today necessarily. If we were still at the ocean, maybe we would consider it. But yeah, we're just going to continue on as we are for now, hoping to find some clay. But not getting all that much luck. It's the odds are fairly low for each cut. I mean, if we take enough of them, the odds get better. But collectively, still not seeing. So, okay, well, we have 3 copper, 1 on the furnace. So if we smelt a 4th one, or 5th one, that'll be enough for our, if we decide to get the silo today. So we got some time to wait for that, 30 minutes to wait for that. So we might as well do some more hoeing. This is a nice spot because this is where we're going to plant some summer stuff if it lasts till summer. And we found the clay. So we now have all that we need. It is good. Life is good. So we'll make our way to Robin's, and we've already picked out a spot where we want the silo to be. In an earlier episode, I was cleaning a spot kind of far left, just on the farm, basically the far west, if you will. Say hi to Linus. Hi, Linus. So it's in a spot, we don't need to see the silo every day. It's not like honey or anything like that. Construct farm building silo. We don't need to interact with it every day, so it's nice to get it out of the way. It's nice to have a path to get there in case we want to see how much hay we have, especially in the winter. But I'm pretty happy that we can place it that far away, because we don't really have a lot of interaction with it. So that's the case. Let's do a little bit more look and forage. Something we wouldn't normally do necessarily on a sunny day, but we got a little more free time. And now we're coming into the mine at 5 o'clock. It should be good. 5 floors shouldn't be that hard. So let's make our way. We got some beasties here. Now I've the way the microphone I have it set up, you can't really hear the game noise, but there's like a screech when those golems. I don't know if you saw the little blue-green eyes that show up, and then when I kill him, he gives me a stone. I don't know that it makes sense that I get a stone from a golem, but I guess there's nothing else that does make sense. So I also I don't know if you noticed there. I went through all of the gold spring onion. That was on purpose, just to make space. There's my little friend. So we are looking for ladders and iron and creepy golems that we can kill. I think they're called golems. They may be different in this game, but they're kind of a golem-esque. So we got some copper. We got some topaz. Nice to see some of the more expensive stuff. Another ladder. Let's get some copper. Some stonies. We can go back for those stonies. And oh, another ladder. And it's time for food. So we're gonna. So this floor, 38, and there's a couple like it. Is a really good floor from the standpoint it's nice and open. It's got some coal. You can pick up free only once. If we come back to floor 38, the coal is going to be gone. Like I said, it's open so you can see. Oh, I got some amethyst. I got some copper. I don't have to do a gazillion stones just to find the one or two things that I'm looking for. It's a bit like the quarry that we'll see later in the game, and there's even a ladder. 39, we are close to being done the 5. So this is one of those snaky floors. It's sort of one path from front to back kind of thing. So in that case, I try and pick up as many of the stones along the way as I can, just so I don't have to sort of backtrack. It's not perfect, especially if I were focusing on the copper and topaz, etc. But we will make our way through. Got our golem friend, or whatever the dude's name is. We're going to have some carrots. But just making, we're getting a fair bit of stone. Get some batwing. So the batwing helps us later on. It's certainly part of the lightning rod that helps us get batteries. So that's a good thing. There's a couple other uses for it, so it's not bad to have around. Certainly in the bundle, whatever, Ventures bundle or whatever, we're going to use 10 of them in there just because it's easier than a lot of other things to get for that bundle. So I don't know if you see over in the left there's a little, yes, the chest or whatever that was, the barrel or whatever that was. So sometimes, sort of my modus operandi, my MO for this is when I chop at, when I finish a stone, I'll kind of step into where it was. And if there's a ladder there, it will sort of resist me. So I know just to right click and then I can go down the ladder. But right now, the only thing that's been resisting me are those chests and stuff. And I think we are going to run out of time here. So let's get out of here. It's too bad. I'm sure if we had a torch, we could find it, but we don't have a torch, and it's not worth passing out in the mine. So let's get out. We did get 34 copper. We got 11 coal. Some pretty good return, almost 100 stone. That's awesome. I'm pretty happy with that actually. So we'll make our way back. Tomorrow is going to be a Friday. So we will include going down to the cart, see if we can find our red cabbage. And we're getting close. Certainly we'll get our axe tomorrow. That's going to be a big improvement. I'll be happy about that. We're going to smelt a little bit of copper before we go to bed. That's kind of the right thing to do. Drop off the dandelion. I think the topaz was supposed to go into the shipping, but it's not a big deal to have missed it. So we got 3 combat, we got 3 mining, and in the morning the weather is going to be clear, and the fortune teller says they're somewhat annoyed. We'll have to deal with that in the morning. It's back to you, Dino. Okay, thanks, Av. Yeah, we did do a fair bit. The copper haul was really good. It's unfortunate that we didn't get to the end of the dark floors, but that's not the end of the world. We'll figure that out. But sort of as far as how well we got through, we got the harvest done. That wasn't terribly hard. We did get the silo in order, so I can't knock that. That's going to be a huge win. And then as far as free time, we got some forging. So I think we did okay, as can be considered. It's always hit and miss when you get to those dark floors. Sometimes it's worth, the first time you see a torch, or even just build a torch to take it with you, and then the rest of the game you have this torch in the mind, you're thinking, what am I going to do with it? So this seemed to be the easier way, but maybe it stung us this time from the standpoint that we couldn't get to the end of floor 39. But we'll get another chance at that on another day. Especially if we've already stacked in the silo ahead of schedule. So things are turning out well. Hopefully you're getting something out of this set of YouTube videos. We're going to be back for episode 19. It'll be a Friday, so we'll hopefully find some of that red cabbage from the traveling cart, but we will have to see. If there's anything I can do to make some of this stuff clearer, if there's topics that don't come up, again, today we kind of talked about culture, which really is an odd topic for a game with non-player characters and no other attractions. So, but still worth discussing. But yeah, use the comment section to let me know what I can do better to make the videos, easier to understand, more acceptable, and to help us learn about production management. So hopefully you are getting something out of it. It's Dino, the Ops Guy, signing off.